Welcome to the Hope to Hope Conference, day number 3.
Woohoo!
I can't believe it's day number 3. It
I
seems
know.
like we just started.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. We have such amazing speakers on and such amazing guests that I am so honored that they have said yes, that they're showing up. And I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team.
I'm Coni Meyers with Crystal Lane Moment Success Movement and Publishing.
And we are thrilled to tell you about our next guest. She's going to kick off day number 3 for us. And I actually met her at a gala with Wanda McKinley. Wanda, if you're watching, we love you. She sat this little sweetheart at the same table. And man, the rest is history. She is a TV talk show host. She is on the board of We Are Survivors, domestic violence, awareness and prevention, and many, many other things. But I want to introduce you to the beautiful Katrina Marable-Lokko. Woo!
Hey. Hey, everybody. How are you?
We're so glad that you're with us this morning, Miss Katrina. You know, you are so cute because you're a little bitty thing, but you have a presence that's not little bitty at all.
Oh, well, thank you.
You were rocking that dress at that gala, and I was thinking, wow, I don't know who she is, but I need to know who she is. And so when you came and Miss Wanda sat you with us and we got to visit, I thought, oh, I love this girl already. She's favorite color is pink. She loves red. She's sparkly. She's a princess. we have to know each other.
Yeah.
Sounds like 2 pieces of pie.
So tell our listeners what else you would like them to know about you, because I'm only touching the surface. I know you have lots more things, a lot of more accolades and things like that, but I like the personal side and I can't help it. But do you have some other things? Can you help them understand who you are and what you do?
Who I am just a girl, I tell people. Just a girl with big dreams, a huge calling that God has placed on my life, and trying to fulfill it and helping others to be the best person they could be, the person they're called to be, the bold and unique spirits that they have on the inside of them. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I love people, and I want to make sure that people are free from any labels and stereotypes that people have placed on them. And that's what I do. And I use my media platforms, the magazine, the talk show, all that, to get the message out there. If there's something I don't know, I bring the experts in those fields on the show and in the magazine so that people can get the proper information that they need.
Well, tell me what it is that drives you to start a TV talk show or a magazine or be on the board of We Are Survivors. What is your backstory?
My backstory is small town girl. And I'm probably going to tell my age when I tell that, but back in those times, small town girls, South town, in the South of Tennessee, Black female, learning disabilities. So I really didn't have anything going for me, or I would like to say the odds were against me at that time. Had very severe learning disabilities, and no one knew why, but they discovered it was because I was having problems hearing and seeing. And I really didn't have a learning disability. I had just missed a lot of stuff because of that. And so I got started late in life. My third grade teacher, Miss Ann Hegler, realized, well, she doesn't have a learning disability. She's just behind the curve now because my vision was very bad. I had this degenerative disease, but it's okay now. I've been healed of that. I wear glasses, but I can actually see. And I couldn't hear that well. So she discovered how to teach me my own learning style. and how to teach my own learning style. And so as she did that, I started learning and picking up stuff. So I had to catch up really, really fast. But that brought a lot of low self-esteem and low self-worth. And I wasn't really confident. And as I got older in the teenage years, just going down the partying trail and getting caught up with the wrong guys and being in domestic violence relationships myself, after being with my high school sweetheart, it's like, okay, who is this person? Gave up all my dreams, even forgot about them with all the drama that was going on in my life. And girl, let me tell you, I had drama. I always had drama because of the decisions that I made based on the low self-esteem and the low self-worth. And I'm telling you, when I discovered what my dreams really was and what I really wanted to do, because I always wanted to do media since I was 10 years old. But I let that go. I had kids, I had a husband, I had all that stuff that I thought that defined me, but it didn't. It didn't make me happy. It did not satisfy me. It caused me to be very bitter, very, very unforgiving, had animosity towards my children, toward my life, all that stuff until I discovered who I was. And it took me coming into the spiritual aspect and allowing Jesus really just to heal me from all that hurt and all that pain and start something great for him. And so that's the reason why my love for domestic violence and working with Wanda. She is really great. I love, love, love her just so dearly. She is doing some wonderful things in the community and around the world. And I love working for her, and I love the platform so I could get messages out there to people to let them know that there's help no matter what you're going through, even if it's not domestic violence and it's as simple as you're stagnant and you're depressed or you're dealing with a lot of heaviness. You just don't know how to break free. I can help you with that by bringing on people or even myself talking to you and allowing you to understand that you are worth it. You are worth it.
See what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it now.
And I'm trying to keep the short version because I know we don't have a lot of time.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't even have to know the backstory to know you're a little powerhouse. But to know that you've been through stuff, we've all been through stuff. Some of it's inflicted on us, and some of it's we inflict on ourselves.
Yeah.
Either way, we come through it. We have to come through it. There's not a place that we need to get stuck. And I think you are an awesome example of not getting stuck and proof that you can go on no matter the situation. You can get up out of that situation and do something absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Do you mind me asking, how old were you when you came to that discovery?
I was actually 32. Now, I don't mind telling my age because I just thank God that I'm still here. I'm 49 now, but I was 30, 31, 32, and I was like, I've got to do something better with my life. I just can't keep living like this. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I just want you to know you're getting close to me. I turned 50 this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm catching up with you. Not quite there, but I'm catching up.
A couple of kids.
Yeah.
I don't mind my age either because of what you just said. I'm thankful I'm still here, and I'm thankful I'm still, able to do things and be able to do things like this Hope to Hope conference with you. I think that is why we're still here, is to do some amazing things.
Yes, ma'am.
So, tell us about your magazine. Tell us what that's all about.
Ooh, all of it is just so exciting because I'm in the middle of rebranding and transitioning and taking it to this whole other level that obviously my little brain didn't think of at first, but obviously I was thinking too small. But it's called WOAW Magazine, at least that's what it was called. And that stands for Women of Abundant Wealth because I have an organization called Women of Abundant Wealth. And it just helps women, and there's a lot of aspects to that, so we probably can't even get into that today. But I started the magazine in 2004 in another city, another state before I came to Dallas. And I did it as a newsletter, and I seen how I was getting leeway. So when I came to Dallas, I turned it into a magazine. And it's only printed 6 times a year. I don't have it digitally yet, but it's going to be digital this year. It's all print because people still like the paper and have it in their hand. But people telling their stories like what you're talking about now, and the people that you interview as well, just telling their stories. But it's getting ready to shift, and it's not going to be called WOAW Magazine anymore. We're going to have a place for WOAW Magazine, but it's going to be more of a newspaper and women only, because I was getting a lot of men that needed a different thing, and a lot of entrepreneurs and people that needed to know how to grow their business. So it's going to be called Bold and Unique Business Magazine, because
Oh,
that's
nice.
my little tagline. Yes, Bold and Unique Business Magazine. And it's going to feature a lot of great business, because people need to know that, look, I was stuck. I was here. There was no chance of me. I beat the I beat the odds. Now I'm here. And people
Yeah.
need to know, how do I get from being down here to coming up here?
Yes. And that's what this whole conference is about. This conference is free to everyone. And the point of it is, I've paid a lot of money, a lot of thousands of dollars to go to coaches and to go to conferences and events and things. But there are seriously people who cannot afford to go somewhere, but they need to get unstuck so they can start working
Yeah.
toward those things. And I think that's what, my heart's desire is, to make sure that people have some sort of outlet that if they only take the tips that are found in this conference, they can change their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They can change
True.
where they're at, and their ability to get unstuck, because you, along with all the other amazing speakers, give them access to contact you. And that's a huge deal. We take it lightly sometimes when we feel like we're all alone in a situation. But the truth is, there are people out there, like all of us, that will give you access. I mean, you can't have access to us and cause me chaos.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there are some parameters to their access.
yes.
Yeah. Definitely
But
should be.
but if you are listening and you're stuck, this is another prime example of someone who's been stuck, just like we have, and has overcome so many things that, in your self-talk. I'm going to back up just a second to your story, because your self-talk, from having those labels put on you as a little girl, your self-talk has to change also. We talked yesterday about the fact that sometimes our abuser labels us and says things to us, and
Mhm.
then we actually get out of that situation, and then we take over for them. We start self-talking that same trash to ourselves, and we have to change that. We have to take responsibility to change what we're saying to ourselves.
Yes.
How did you change that kind of those kind of labels that were just really minimizing what you were here to do? How did you overcome that self-talk?
Well, for me, it was my faith and my trust and my belief in Jesus Christ. I cried out. I needed answers. I did not know where to go. I
Mhm.
called my mom. I've always had access to my mom. She is my everything. My parents are my everything. And I called her, and I just told her, I said, you know what? I can't continue to live my life like this. And she asked me, she's like, well, what did you always want to do? You always wanted to do something, and I'm gonna let you tell me that. And that's how she is. And I was like, I don't know, let me think about that and get back to you. So for a whole week, for a whole week, and this was coming up on my 32nd birthday. So I was 31, coming up on my 32nd birthday. So that's why I was questioning. I'm 32. What have I done? What have I contributed to the world? Other than help people party. you know. So I was asking myself that. And so during that whole week of discovery, I realized, hey, I always wanted to do media. I always wanted to do skits and plays and dramas and talk shows and magazines and acting and all that stuff. And I had done that stuff in the past, and I write scripts and plays and dramas, and I was still writing even with all that. And I said, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to just jumpstart because it is hard. And I won't tell people that it's easy. I'll never tell people that it's easy because at the time it was going to take money. It was going to take something different. And at that time I was a single mom on welfare, just really bogged down with bills and drama and chaos. And I was like, how do I really just get out of this? And as I was praying, God sent me this precious little old woman. I just met her in Walmart. And she was like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, oh, fine. And she's all bubbly, and I'm all mad and bitter about my life. And I'm like, I wish you would stop being bubbly. And if you notice, I'm just free. Stop being bubbly. All that energy, because I didn't want to hear that I needed a solution, not understanding that she was my solution. Because as we talked, she was able to talk me through some things and really mentor me and help me overcome some things. And the first thing she taught me before I even dived in to doing anything, she was like, we've got to really work on you. And I'm like, yeah, I need that work. We've got to work on you. I was this attitude. Because, when you're bitter and angry, you have an attitude because it shields what you're trying to hide. You're hiding stuff. And so as she began to work on me and bring out the beauty, just bring out the beauty of who I really was and showing me who I really was for the first time, everything started falling in place. And she was like, now we can work on this business stuff. We can really
wow. Well, that's a powerful story.
Yeah. So I always had an entrepreneur spirit, but the attitude and all that stuff just wasn't right. And, God was saying to me, he was not going to let me get on a pedestal or a platform and bring all that drama and attitude. He had to really work on me before he gave me what I needed to have or what he wanted me to have.
Such a good point because, we all have, like I said, we've all been through some things, but sometimes we do get an attitude about the things we've been through, or sometimes we even just get an attitude because we just get an attitude.
Yeah.
But forgiveness, I think, is the key to success in every area of your life, even business. People want to separate it and just say, that's personal, but I don't agree.
No.
Because if we're bitter in any area, we affect our income, we affect our outcome.
Forgiveness is a key component. You cannot step into the life you're supposed to be living.
Yes.
Of any kind, whether it's personal or professional, if you don't have forgiveness.
Yes.
And it's forgiveness of yourself as well as forgiveness of others.
Yes. And that's an important part. You obviously had had that self-talk still going on too, that you were mad, but you also probably came through the thing of being mad at yourself.
Oh, yes.
Mad at the situation, but also mad at choices you've made or whatever. We all have that in common, and yet we all want to hide that. That seems to be. And when you are so transparent like you are, I think I'm just going to say that's one of the things I just love about you is that you are real, because what good does it do to hide that stuff? What good does it? And so what did you do to change? Like you said, you had a mentor that helped you change. Did you start with forgiving you, or did you start with forgiving others, or what was the process for you?
I started when we talked about it, and I started with forgiving others because I never even thought that I had to forgive myself. I didn't even think about that concept. I just thought, well, you forgive others. So I started with forgiving others. So I went through a process of calling everybody up and telling them I forgive them. Now, you know, it's hard when you call up your abuser and say, I forgive you. And they say, for what? And you're like, oh my God, did you forget the black eyes, the bruises, you know, you know,
You want to rehearse?
okay, I have to forgive you for even saying that to me, you know. So I called everybody up and, you know, I told them that I forgave them. And then I called other people that I did wrong to because, you know, I'm not this, oh, you know, I've never done anything wrong. And no, no, that just simply was not me. And it's still not, you know, we all do stuff. But I had to call people up and I had to ask them, whatever I've done to you, offended you, hurt you, did you wrong, mistreated you, whatever it was, could you please forgive me for that? Just forgive me for that. And you know, most everybody did. And you know, there was a few that was like, yeah, all right, not happening. But it was okay because I could not base that on me getting free. So I did call them up, ask them to forgive me, and then the next thing I did was my mentor, Miss Gloria. She was like, "Now forgive yourself," and I was like, myself? She was like, yeah, you know, and then I thought about it. Yeah, you're right. Because I have abused myself. I have lost myself, gave myself away, did some very horrible things to myself. And so I had to forgive myself. And then the last little bit in praying, I had to forgive God. And people's like, forgive God? What did he do to you? It's not what he did to me. It's what I thought he did to me. It's the life I thought he gave me. And he didn't love me. And he wanted me to live like this. And this is horrible. So I asked him to forgive me, you know, and I asked him for forgiveness. And that just opened up a whole other thing. And my eyes were open at that point. And I knew I couldn't look back. Even if I wanted to step back into that old life, I couldn't. It just wasn't there anymore. It had been totally erased. So
That's
those were the
that's
steps.
beautiful. Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So, how long ago did this process bring you through before you started the magazine?
It was before, oh, all this was before I started the magazine. So this was like, all this stuff was like in the 90s. Yeah, all the forgiveness and stuff. And then, you know, I still go through forgiving people and stuff. But all this stuff was before I actually just really launched the magazine. It was before I even moved to Dallas. I couldn't have even moved to Dallas with the attitude that I had, I'm sure. But all that healing right there took place before that. So it was in the 90s, 98, 99, 2000, around that time.
What kind of work were you doing at that point, or
What
were
kind
you
of work?
working?
Well, yes, I owned a janitorial service. I owned
Wow.
started a janitorial service. I was working for a very well-known furniture company, and I was their accounts manager. And I got a revelation one day. My boss and I were the same age, and it was a hometown furniture store. So there was no room for advancement because he and I both had decided it was a great company, and it still is to this day. But we both wanted to retire there. So that means if we both wanted to retire there, one of us had to die to get a good position. And obviously he had the good position and we both was in good health. So that wasn't happening. And I was facing the fact, am I willing to stay at this place with no advancement? And I was like, no, I've always wanted my own business, so I need to leave. And I was like, how can I do that? So I started working on an exiting plan. And a friend of mine had asked me, she said, well, what do you think that will bring you the most money right now? I said, people keep calling the store because we had the phone number of a cleaning service that used to have that phone number. And I was like, maybe I'll start a cleaning business. And she was like, no, that's not going to work for you. And I was like, I don't know. I like to clean. I'm very OCD when it comes to cleaning. And so I did. I started it, grew that business, grew it. And I'm from an Army base. So got a lot of Army contracts and just really grew that business. And I actually still have that business. I just lease out the work. I lease out the work. Um, and so that's what got it started. And I said I was only starting the cleaning business to get capital for the magazine because it was easier to start the cleaning business.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
You just hit on something major that so many people do not understand about business. There are times that we have to do something to create the capital and create the flow of business and the energy and the motivation and all of those things. There are times we do things that are not our favorite to be able to go on and do what it is we need to do. That's huge. It's huge because some people will almost squat down and say, I'm not moving until I get this end result.
Right.
And then they never get anything because they are not flexible to transition from one thing to another. And that is a dangerous thing. You obviously understand the magic behind the transitioning part, creating your own capital, not depending on someone else to create it for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, I didn't have it. And my parents, they've been always, during anything in business, been my number one financial backer, emotional, mentally backers. They've always done that because they worked outside the home, but they always had their business. And my mom, she does civil rights and human rights advocates, and they've just always supported us in entrepreneurship and everything. And so she always had told us, in order to get to where you need to be, you have to do what you can within reason. You have to do what you can. And starting that cleaning business, it taught me discipline. It taught me so much. And I really learned a lot about people because I'm inside their homes and their life. We see things that nobody else see. So it exalted me and expelled me into things that I never knew. And so when I talk to people about articles or wanting to interview them, I know a little something about people based on that.
Wow. You know what though? That's a really good point too. You're just making all kinds of good points, man. But that's a good point as well. That as you're going through, you've lost the attitude. Now you're transitioning into something that is not the end result, but it's a step towards what you're headed toward. And you're learning, instead of being stubborn and mad that you're in that position, you're taking the time to learn what it is you need to know for the next level, for the next thing that you're going to do.
What I like about it is that you are taking where you are with what you have right now and taking the next step. And so many people, since they want to be here, they want to be down the road, they think they can go from where they are now to that end of that road, and not realizing that you do things in between to get you there.
Yes.
And there's a lot of hard work involved in a transition. Leaving a job that you love and that you're still singing their praises.
Yes.
You still are. You didn't leave on bad terms. You didn't, throw a fit. And that says a lot of your character. And then you go into a job that, and I'm going to just be real, but janitor service or TV host.
Well, not quite the TV show host yet. And, that was in the 90s when still doing janitorial work was not really exciting to people. It really wasn't. So,
they just didn't know how much money they could make. That was the problem.
That's true. And then you're telling everybody, I'm going to be a TV talk show host. And there's like, yeah, but you're cleaning that toilet.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And then I've already, had the attitude, well, you just watch in a few years, I won't be. And then it'll be a choice because even though I'm a TV talk show host and I have a magazine, no matter where I go in life, I've always learned one thing. I'm always willing to continue to clean a toilet because you have to humble yourself. I'm not above anybody and nobody's above me.
Yes, I love that because that's how I am. If something needs to be done, okay, let's just do
let's
it.
get in there and
Let's just do it. I don't care what it is, because ultimately all those things have to come together to do that end thing that you want to do. Ultimately, you are a TV host, and ultimately you have a magazine, and ultimately, so all the people that were snickering or, you know, not believing in what you were saying at the time while you're cleaning toilets, you know, they should be taking notes instead of, laughing. They should have been taking notes to see what it looks like to become what it is you want to do.
But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that probably while you were cleaning those toilets, you saw yourself in front of a camera.
Yeah, I literally did, because this is how it happened in 2005. Now, I already was starting to work on the magazine, but the talk show, I had no idea. And Richard Goodman of Goodwin Productions, we cleaned his house. And so he asked me one day, he was like, hey, well, can you clean my studio? I was like, your studio? He's like, yes, down the street. I went into this studio and I was like, you have a television studio. You never told me that. And he was like, well, it wasn't important, was it? And I was like, well, no, but yeah. And so I started telling him my idea about my talk show. And he was like, well, let's just do it. He was like, how about you clean for me for free and I do your television show? I was like, huh? Have you bumped your head? Has God looked about all of us? What happened? And so he started showing me how to do the media stuff, the stuff that I've been wanting to do since I was 10 years old. He's like, well, this is how you're going to do it. And this is how you're going to get established. So he shot my first show and was teaching me everything I needed to know about media right there in his studio in Clarksville, Tennessee. And it was like, okay, I'm cleaning your house. Been cleaning your house for 4 or 5 months. You're just now telling me you have a TV studio that we need to clean too, and I need you to do the talk show for me. So actually being in that position got me in the position that I'm in now.
I have to tell you. I have a book called Crystalline Moments, Moments of Clarity. That was a moment of clarity that created the opportunity. That's a fantastic story.
Well, and if you would have still had the attitude, I have to keep going back, because if you would have still had the attitude, you would have never been able to, take on a business like that. You would have never been able to be in his home to get a connection with him. You would have not been able to do so many things. And we just don't realize, how many things and how many opportunities we missed out on because they don't look like what we think they're going to look like.
Yes.
I mean, cleaning someone's toilet does not look like a connection to a TV show. But what an amazing connection. What an amazing, thing that happened from you being obedient and you doing what you had to do, because that's, again, the thing. There are things we have to do to get to where we want to go. People will sit down and they'll wait until I'm going to have a TV show and that's the only thing I'm going to, I'm not going to do anything until I get that. Yeah. And the truth is, what if you had done that? You still wouldn't have a TV show.
That's right.
I mean, that's the thing that is so amazing. I love this because this is a perfect kickoff to Hope to Hope.
Oh, boy.
Because this is what we're talking about. I mean, this is the very stuff that we're trying to get out there that people understand. It doesn't always look like what you think it's going to look like. It just doesn't. But get up and move and show up anyway. Show up and do your best job you can do doing whatever it is.
Whatever it is. So tell us a little bit about your TV show.
Well, it was called Women. It mirrored the magazine Women of Abundant Wealth talk show. But now it's going to be called Bold and Unique Living. And I did my first show back in October. Bold and Unique Living with Katrina Marable-Lokko. And it's taken a different tone. It's not all about women and women issues. It's about issues. just in the world, global issues, and we are global. And we pulled it. We were on one network. Now we pulled it to another network, and we're excited about that. And that's a whole other story that's coming down the pipe that I'll be able to help more people and reach more people. But I'm excited about that. It airs the second and fourth Tuesday evenings of the month at 7 p.m. And I'll have all that information for people as we go. But we put the test show up there in October, and it just blew us away because I was nervous. I was like, Women of Abundant Wealth has been my baby since 2000. So how can I just change it like that? And not fighting, and it was a stretch, and it was a battle. It really was a battle. And so we recorded the first show, got it put up there, and people loved it. They loved it better than, and I was kind of mad at first. I was like, we love this better than Women of Abundant. Hey, but it's still me. It's just a different. They're getting what they really, really need.
Well, and you know what? That's another example of you being flexible. You know, that you could be stubborn, and I've seen this happen so many times with people. They get to a certain level, and they will not change.
Yeah.
They will hold on, and they will get stuck in that place because it's not looking like what they want it to look like. You know, so they're going to hold on with gritted teeth, and they don't.
It's like it's their baby, and they don't want the baby to grow up.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening. I was going through so many. I'm telling you, I was still doing Women of Abundant Wealth. I were going to the television studio, but there was just something inside of me, and I was battling with it, and I could just feel, and I knew in my heart of hearts that it was about to change. But I'm like, no, God, Women of Abundant Wealth. And I just had to say, but I trust you. And so when I told him I released it to you, and he kept telling me, you're hanging on to something that doesn't even belong to you. It belongs to me. Give it to me. And when I finally gave it to him, not in just word, but gave everything to him, just released it from my heart. He was like, now this is what I'm going to give you. And I was like, whoa.
And it always it's always better. We hold on to stuff with a tight fist, and we won't receive what he's given us because we can't comprehend it. We're going to hold on, and then we laugh because once we finally let it go, it turns out to be way better than we ever thought.
Exactly. Far surpassing even our wildest dreams.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, what would you tell the listeners if, let's say they're stuck in a bad attitude, they're in a place of transition that they don't like, they don't want to be flexible, things are not looking like what they thought they would look like. What would you tell somebody in that situation how to get past themselves to be able to receive what God has for them?
First of all, I would like to tell them, I know it's hard. It's not easy, and there's people out there that'll make you think it's easy where you shouldn't be like that. It's not easy. It's hard, but you have to push yourself. You really have to take a look at yourself and your attitude and ask yourself this first. Is my attitude adding to people or taking from people? Is my attitude adding to me or taking from me? And if your attitude is a subtraction, you need to change it. And the first thing you do is you figure out what caused you to have the attitude. You have to get to the root of the problem. What caused you to have that attitude, and you reconcile that. You get over it, you get past it, and you have to practice. You have to practice, and be disciplined. You do, and things are not easy, but if you stay in that attitude, you won't get anywhere.
That's great. That's great advice and I love the practicing. I have a kind of a smarty pants answer sometimes to people who are stuck in thinking that they should be a pro ball player. Yeah. For example, and they don't want to go to practice. They don't want to go to Little League first. They don't want to. They don't want to go up through the ranks so that they can get to that place. They have some talent and they have a gifting, but it's not practiced.
Yes.
It's not ready. And
Yes.
we like it easy. We like to pull up to the drive-through, and we like instant. We like,
Well,
Yeah.
and we kind of talked about it yesterday. What you have to do is you have to take and put one foot in front of the other, and it starts out with baby steps, and then pretty soon you can run. But you've got to take that first step, and that first step is always the most difficult step to take. But once you take that first one, then each one gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier, and pretty soon you're going a little faster. But we don't have babies that take their first step and stand and run right off the bat. They usually take that first step and fall on their little behinds. So it's a matter of getting up. Sooner or later that baby's going to walk, and pretty soon that baby's going to run. And it doesn't matter what it is in your life. It's exactly the same. You have to take those steps.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Yeah.
so how can people get connected to you? Because you are absolutely awesome sauce, as I already know. But how can other people, other than your princess here, get connected with you and just find out what you have to offer in the magazine and the show? And
what channel? How can they find your TV show, and what time and all of that?
They can find me on Facebook. Right now, the website, hopefully it'll be up this week, because we'll have a direct link to it, and they won't have to go through all the other process, because I had to make it really simple for people. Nobody wants to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to get to it. So we're working on that.
Right.
They can find me on Facebook, and that way, or they my phone number is up there as well. They can call me, they can connect with me, they can ask me about advertising, they can ask me about sponsorship, they can even ask me about them wanting to host their own shows. They can call me about all of that.
That was one of the next things I was going to ask you. So if somebody wants to start their own magazine, or somebody wants to start their own TV show, what are the first steps you suggest that how they get started?
Well, not only should they call me, but
Well, tell me your number and post it.
excuse me.
Let me have it, and I'll post it in the comments.
The phone number,
Whatever you want to give them.
my phone number is 214-253-1696. And I'm on 214-253-1696. And they can reach me on Facebook as well, Katrina Lokko.
Okay, I'm putting it in the comments just to make sure that they can reach out and get you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I am so honored to get to meet you. And she was, the princess here was talking all about you, and I was like, well, I can't wait for this woman to come on. So what a great way for us to start our Friday morning. So
Yes,
what a pleasure it is to meet you.
Wow.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do, because being on the board of a nonprofit is a huge responsibility. People do not realize how much responsibility you carry and what sacrifices you make to do that. So as a survivor myself, I appreciate what you do to help other women. I didn't know that there was a way out. I didn't know there was someone to help me. And it's amazing to me that all the things that are available now, so thank you for all your work that you do. Thank you for empowering people and loving people, and thank you for being my friend.
Well, thank you guys for being my friend and having me on, and all that you guys do. It really is important.
Well, we will see everyone in the next session. We will be back at, I have to look at the thing because, I cannot remember, at 10:30 Central Time with Charlie Cale. She's a radio host. And
she's totally into Reiki with particularly animals. She loves animals, and so she does Reiki with animals, and just a darling gal.
Yes,
so.
And thank you again, Katrina. We hope
you.
everybody gets on and gets your magazine and watches the show. I'll be on watching the show.
Oh, amen.
Thank you. Everybody, we will see you in the next session. This is the Hope to Hope Conference. I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team.
And I'm Coni Meyers with Crystalline Moments Success Movement and Publishing.
Love you guys.